That's right, there's a whole video dedicated to his chest that you can find right now on the internet. I think Men's Health has got it, with The Rock's trainer basically saying, you know, when it was time for Naked Chest Day. Simon the Board A-hole here. Thank you very much for joining me as always. Happy Monday if you're watching this on day one. And today we're going to talk about The Rock's trainer, because obviously Black Adam is doing the rounds right now. It's been very, very successful. So everyone's looking at Dwayne Johnson going, how the hell has he got such a good body? And given The Rock's trainer is also the trainer for Henry Cavill, who's also in that movie, spoiler, but let's face it, The Rock and Henry Cavill aren't trying to keep that secret, so I'm not going to try and keep it a secret either. It's the classic PR round, and you get a bunch of articles about The Rock and how he trained and how he did this. And there's one particularly interesting story out there, how, you know, because obviously movies take a long old while to film, but you don't do it in the sort of the correct order. You just we'll do scene 1, then we'll do scene 32, then we'll come back to scene 14. So essentially The Rock for, let's say 4 weeks, I'm making that number up, but for a period of time, had to keep his physique looking exactly the same, including his chest. That's right, there's a whole video dedicated to his chest that you can find right now on the internet. I think Men's Health has got it, with The Rock's trainer basically saying, you know, when it was time for Naked Chest Day, I would be on set. Usually we were just working remotely and I'd say, eat this, don't eat this, reduce your sodium intake, etc., etc. But when it was time for Naked Chest Day,
we had to do for the first shirtless scene, we had to do for the second about 6 weeks later. Remember, there's no padding in the suit. That's his physique. And that physique we had to hold the entire film.
We absolutely had me on set making sure his chest looked the same the whole time. Now, somebody eventually asked him, oh, what 5 exercise would you recommend to anybody to get in superhero shape? Now, the reason I like to talk about these articles is because they are the type of mainstream articles that do get seen by a lot of people that are either just starting out at the gym for the first time, or those who have just hit a plateau and they're like, well, I don't know what to do. Well, if The Rock does this and Henry Cavill does this and this amazing trainer says I should do this, maybe I should do it. And sometimes you can overdo them, or you can ignore other exercises that actually would be more beneficial. So we're going to go through all 5. I'll tell you the pros, I'll tell you the cons, and I'll remind you that if you're listening to me right now thinking, I don't want to listen to that bald idiot, you shouldn't. Find the people you trust and stick with them. So his name is Dave Rienzi. I should stop calling him The Rock's trainer. You know, you shouldn't reduce him to such a thing. And quite interestingly, the very first one that he throws in there is the barbell hip thrust. Then we have some how to do it. Lie with your upper back resting on a bench and your feet flat on the floor in front of you. Rest the barbell on the crease of your hips and raise your hips until your body forms a straight line from your shoulders to your knees. Hold for a count and then slowly return to the starting position. But as Rienzi says, it's such an effective exercise at isolating the glutes. The glutes perform such a key role in athletic performance, minimizing the risk for injury and reducing the risk of knee pain and lower back pain. So I would put the hip thrusts at the top of the glute posterior chain exercises. Now, that is why it's quite interesting, because not a lot of people when they first go to the gym are be going to doing hip thrusts. In fact, you probably don't even care about your ass. If some magical muscle genie appeared and say, hey, do you want a muscly ass? You'd be like, no, can I have massive triceps instead? But this is an interesting way to look at it. Now, I don't think you should throw all other exercises out and just focus on barbell hip thrusts. I do think you should bring them into your routine at some point, but what the main takeaway of what he just said there should be that you need everything to be working in conjunction with everything else, and you need to make sure you build one muscle, so another muscle or another body part or a joint is stabilized. Because too many times what happens mostly is people don't train their legs, right? They don't train their lower part of their body. They train their upper body. So they're completely out of sync with everything, and then they get injured, and they can't figure out why they're injured. It's like, well, because you've got a massive back, and you've got massive arms, you've got a massive chest, but when it comes to your hips, your glutes, your quads, your hamstrings, your calves, and who knows what else, you haven't built up the necessary protection, I suppose. And that's what you got to remember too. We're not just going to the gym to train. We're not just going to the gym to build muscle or get ripped. We are building for stability, and we are building for perseverance, because you want to be doing this when you're 35, 45, 55, 65. Why the hell wouldn't you? You don't just want to get to old age and go, oh, you can't do this thing you really like anymore. So absolutely, bring them in. Do them a couple of times a week. Treat them like any other exercise too. Don't buy into this bizarre thing, oh, well, it's a exclusive muscle group, and therefore you should train them different to all other muscle groups. No, train muscles in exactly the same way. Just try and ironically kick your own ass. Which moves on to my favorite one at number 2, which is lunges. Now, I've talked about lunges a lot on this channel because on the one hand, they suck and I hate them, but on the other, they are so damn good and they'll absolutely build your legs. And he says, stand upright with your hands at your side, palms facing your body, lunge forward as far as you can with your right leg, bending your trailing knee so it almost brushes the floor, using the heel of your right foot to push your body back up to starting position. Repeat with the opposite leg. You can perform this exercise holding dumbbells to make it more challenging. You can do farmer's walks as well. Actually, I think think they're called farmer's walks. Walking lunges, we'll call them, to keep it nice and easily. But as Rienzi says, for legs, I'm a big fan of lunges. I love the unilateral movement, so I love the challenge of it. It's an exercise where you get a really nice deep stretch, and it really isolates the legs very well. It's definitely my favorite leg exercise, and an exercise that I've found has gotten me the most results. Bingo. There's the sentence. Are squats important? Yes. Squats are overall mass builder. They're going to help your core. They're going to help your strength. But if you're just trying to add some size onto your legs and you're not doing lunges, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. The reason people like myself, idiots, don't like them is because they hurt like hell and because they're hard work and they're challenging. And sometimes you don't just want to do that. Also, when you are done, you've done them properly. Oh my gosh, your face will just like that, because again the pain and the lactic acid is so crazy. But that's how you know they're good, because that's the kind of punishment they're doing to your legs. And don't forget, when we are in the gym and we are training, we are causing punishment. We are trying to break the muscle down so that we can then heal it with food and nutrition and protein and who knows what else. So if you were only going to pick one, we'll do a little game throughout of this. Again, you should do all of them. But if you were only going to pick one, pick lunges. Honestly, as good as barbell hip thrusts are, lunges are so damn good, and I cannot sell them enough. Which brings us on to number 3, and everybody will be happy because it's the dumbbell bench press. Lie on a flat bench holding 2 dumbbells over your chest with an overhand grip. Push up until your arms are straight, then lower under control. I would actually argue don't straighten your arms. I think you want to have a bit of give in your elbow. I just think it helps with injuries. But as Rienzi has said, for chest, I have to go with a dumbbell bench press, a good old flat dumbbell bench press. I love the movement. I love the stability of it. Interestingly enough, and you'll see it in our Black Adam workouts, I like doing high rep stuff with the flat bench press. Doing 20 reps of a moderate to moderately heavy weight is extremely challenging, and it really gets a lot of blood pumping into the muscle. So, I mean, that's going to pertain to what you're trying to do. This idea that you have to be doing 4 to 6 reps, unless you're training for like a strongman competition or something, or you're a power lifter. I always think getting up there in rep ranges is going to be better for someone that wants a more aesthetically looking body. You're talking 12 to 14 reps. He was talking about 20 reps. But yeah, with a dumbbell bench press, just remember, push yourself, find that intensity, and make sure you are getting into that higher rep range. On those last few reps, you're really pushing it, and it really hurts. The cool thing about a dumbbell bench press as opposed to a barbell bench press is when you get stuck in a barbell bench press, you have to roll it down you, and it has to go over your penis or your groinal region, and that hurts. Whereas if you're doing it the dumbbell one, you can just drop them on the floor. Like, you shouldn't do that. It's not great gym etiquette, but it's better than dying in the fitness palace of love. Which brings us on to our penultimate one, which is T-bar rows, and boy howdy do I love a T-bar row. Load one side of a barbell with weight and secure the other end in the corner of the gym. Straddle the bar and grip it at the weighted end. Pull the bar towards your chest, keeping your elbows tight to your body and squeezing your shoulder blades together at the top. Lower to the starting position and repeat. T-bar rows are one of my favorite exercises. There's just something about that exercise. It really targets the lats and hits the lats hard when you go up at the top and pause and hold that peak contraction. You really feel the muscles working. It's just a great overall exercise to build size on the lats. Can't argue with that at all. I think the T-bar row seems to be a forgotten back exercise again. Normal barbell rows, awesome. Deadlifts, awesome. Lat pull down, awesome. These are the ones that people can kind of gravitate towards. But even if you don't have a T-bar row in your gym, you can just take a bar and kind of stick it in a corner, although some gyms don't like that anymore. But once you get that form down, and a lot of people don't have the form, they kind of throw it around like trying to wrestle with a fish. Be slow with it. Start nice and light. Add weight procedurally as you get more used to it and as you get more confident. And remember, it's meant to be a nice fluid motion. Like you said, you bring it up to the chest, you give it a big of a squeeze, and you bring it back down. If you're trying to pull it and you're getting no range of motion, then there's no point, because other areas of your back, particularly your lower back, are going to kick in, and then you're going to injure yourself, and you don't want to do that. So once more, absolutely throw these into your back routine, but don't worry if you're just starting off with 20 kilograms. Who cares? If anyone's looking at you go, oh, that guy is such a loser, believe you me, you ain't the loser, it's them. Which ends with a very interesting one, the dumbbell lateral raise. Pick a couple of dumbbells and stand with them by your sides, palms facing your body, keeping your upper body still. That means no swinging. Lift the dumbbells out to your side with a slight bend at your elbows. Lift until your arms are parallel to the floor, then slowly lower to start the position. And as the Rock's trainer says, for shoulders, I love dumbbell side lateral raises. They really get that cap of the shoulder well. I do a lot of techniques with that where I alternate them from a static hold, so you're really maximizing the tension on the side dead tall. It's also a very crazy burn when done properly. And there's the key, again, as I accidentally pushed the wrong button. But that is the key, when done properly. Now, I don't mind if you're going to swing them towards the last few repetitions that you are going to do, but of course, be careful, because you're going to put your body under potential unnecessary strain. But you got to do them I don't want to say slowly, but you've got to do them methodically. So if you have a couple of dumbbells here, don't be throwing them around again. Go all the way up, hold it, all the way down. Now, it's going to be really hard to hold it if you go too heavy of a weight because gravity will kick your ass, right? As soon as my arm is up like this, I can feel the muscle kick into gear because gravity is pushing it down. So it's going to be doubly true when I have a weight in my hand. So always go lightweight with a lateral raise. There's nothing wrong with that. And lightweight doesn't mean 3 kilograms. Lightweight is going to be relative to whatever the hell you can lift. But so many people, and again, there's nothing wrong with doing this if you're just finishing your shoulders off, but so many people go in there and they grab, 22s. They're doing this. And that's fine to a certain extent. You're not going to be seeing the same benefit as if you just throw your ego out the door. It's not about ego. It's about training your body correctly and just ensuring you get that range of motion in, that time under tension. And if you really want that time of tension at the top of the exercise, you have to be using a weight that you can handle. So do not go nuts. And yes, there are variations of this. You can go up like that. You can kind of tuck your elbows in and do that, like you may have seen on plenty of lateral raise machines. So actually, I think they're 5 pretty good exercises. I don't like this idea, again, because if you go to the headline, it says Black Adam and Superman trainer Dave Rienzi shares 5 exercises to get you in superhero shape. That's not going to get you in superhero shape. It's going to make you and allow you to build a great base, but you need more of that. You need some isolation stuff. You need a few more compound stuffs. But I mean, look, these are good things that you should incorporate. And I'll argue at least 3 out of the 5 are ones that people don't necessarily use in 2022, and I don't know why. But remember, all information is good, all exercises are good. Don't change your routine too much, and certainly don't throw the baby out of the bathwater just because you see something like this, but always be willing to change and always keep an eye on it. Always feel like always know when you're going to hit a plateau, and make sure you start making the changes then, and you will continue to fly until, like I say, hopefully you're an old man, you're an old woman, and you're still allowed to go to the fitness palace of love. So don't be stupid, so be smart. Remember, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Now, please do leave a comment below and let me know any exercises that maybe you think are underutilized that people should do. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Give the bell ding ding so you know other videos going live. Notification squad. There will be a video on the screen. Please do give it a click. Otherwise, grillermind.com/Simon. Use code Simon, get 10% off. These are the supplements I use, hence why I'm on board with them. They are super good, and I absolutely vouch for them. I think they are great. Also, you can buy my new Fitness Palace of Love shirt in conjunction with Samson Athletics. There's links for all of this in the description below. At Simon316 on Instagram and Twitter, patreon.com/Simon316. If you want to support me that way, I'm on Cameo if you want a shout out. And that's everything these days. Take care of yourself. See you soon.